Last Sunday, I had the opportunity to meet someone very special. She came down to the Kent studio in Bangalore. And her name is Selvi. She is a 37-year-old beautician who works for Urban Company, Asia's largest at-home services marketplace. And when we say at-home services, we mean cleaning, painting, plumbing, repair work, and of course, beauty treatments such as waxing, pedicure, manicures, facials, etc. Selvi is among the millions of women in India who power the country's booming gig economy. She started working with Urban Company 5 years ago.
I lost my two-wheeler also in COVID.
How?
Financially, I lost. So I used to travel by bus, carrying so many things. That time we are not in a auto scene.
Okay.
I used to travel by bus, get on by bus, and I need to walk like 1.5 kilometer, 2 kilometer inside the customer's house because the bus will stop only in main road. So I used to go ITPL, I used to go Kadugodi, I used to go Woform. So many difficult place times I gone through all this. Sometimes I feel like I quit this job and I work somewhere else. But again, I thought I have to invest somewhere. If I'm working, so again I have to invest. It is not possible. Okay, carry on.
A decade ago, though, when platforms like Urban Company came into the picture, things were very different. They were seen as a beacon of hope for thousands of women like Selvi. It was a way for them to gain financial independence and support their families. To get a better picture of what exactly it was like back then, I spoke to Anna Elias, a PhD scholar at Erasmus University in the Netherlands, whose study is all about the impact that digital platforms have on livelihoods in the informal sector. She specifically studied women gig workers who are partners at Urban Company.
The initial period of platform work or the gig economy was very revolutionary, it was transformative, and this sentiment resonated with gig workers across platforms and across sectors. So it was very lucrative for the workers in terms of earnings, that is, both income and the incentives, and also the regularity in the flow of work. So it gave them access to newer markets and newer customer base, and for many women, the gig economy offered a much needed opportunity. And Urban Company needs to be highlighted here because it's one of the few digital platforms where we see a significant number of women workers, particularly in their beauty and wellness service category.
What Anna is saying was especially evident during the pandemic.
Actually, first before I used to work in parlor. When the first lockdown, everything was shut down. We would not getting salary also in parlor because they also got lost. Like कहीं भी दुकान नहीं खुला था पूरा शट डाउन सो completely. So I thought that time कि before also some of my friends was working in urban company. When they also was working, they said it is really good for home service. We are not getting any jobs, so I thought I will join in here and go do some, because at least we need to run our family. We need to go. First my husband was like no, you cannot go for home service, how safety it is. He started fighting with me. I said, it's, see, you cannot judge by anything like that. It is many women also working in there. We will see how it is.
Even now, Urban Company is the largest employer of women gig workers in the country. More than a third of its workforce is actually made up of women. For this episode, I also went to meet another woman gig worker who had no bookings for the day, so she very graciously invited me to her little 2-room rented apartment that she shares with her brother and sister-in-law in Bangalore's HSR layout area. Okay, Nisha, thank you so much for giving us time. What language are you comfortable in? Hindi, English, Nepali? Hindi? You sure?
नेपालीमा पनि भन्न सकिन्छ
नेपालीमा हुन्छ
त्यसरी म नेपालीमा बोल्छु नि
ए हुन्छ
हिन्दीमा मलाई अप्ठ्यारो लाग्छ
होइन हुन्छ हुन्छ तपाईँको नाम तपाईँ कहाँको हो कति वर्ष भयो बेङ्गलोरमा बसेको भन्नुहोस्
म नेपालको हो बेङ्गलोरमा बसेको म 7-8 वर्ष भयो
अच्छा अन्त अर्बन कम्पनीमा चाहिँ कहिलेदेखि काम गर्नुभएको
अर्बन कम्पनीमा काम गरेको मैले सेप्टेम्बर यो अस्ति सेप्टेम्बरमा 1 वर्ष भयो
Nisha is originally from Nepal, but she moved to Bangalore about 7 to 8 years ago. She's been working with Urban Company for over a year now.
सुरुमा राम्रो थियो, त्यति कार्ड थिएन पनि अनि प्रडक्टहरूको पनि दामहरू त्यति बढाएको थिएन, ठिकै थियो। मैले सुरुमै काम गर्दाखेरि 1,55,000 यस्तो 20-25,000 यसरी काम गरेँ।
Nisha told me how it was great back then when she started working. For the first few months, she was making over 1 lakh every month. But things went downhill pretty quickly for her.
बिस्तारै 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 चाहिँ पुरा डाउन हुँदै गयो। अहिले मैले धेरै भनेको 50 पनि पुराउन सकेको छैन।
Nisha says that now she can barely make 50,000 rupees a month. And please note that out of this 50,000, she has to also buy all the products that she uses for the services herself, plus the fuel, travel cost, and the taxes. Naturally, she's been unable to send money back home to her parents for a few months now. And she's not alone. Over the last couple of years, women gig workers, especially ones from Urban Company who usually work in silos, have been raising their voices and coming together against the appalling work conditions that they're faced with.
Urban Company, hi hi. Urban Company, hi hi. तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी. हमें लूटना बंद करो, हमें लूटना बंद करो. हमारी मांगे पूरी करो.
Among the many things that these women are protesting against, there is the one-sided, unjust rating system of the app that makes female gig workers entirely dependent on ratings by customers. Nisha says that sometimes she feels like crying and misses home, but she doesn't have a choice. She has to be nice to every customer, even if they are unfair or unjust to her, because she needs them to give her a 5-star rating.
रुनु मन लाग्छ नि कहिले कहिले त बहुत लास्टै दुःख लागेर आउँछ, घरका याद आउँछ, तर के गर्नुपर्छ। अनि रेटिङका लागि अब भन्नु पर्यो, म्याम प्लिज मेरो सर्भिस राम्रो लाग्यो भने मलाई रेटिङ दे, यसरी दे भनेर भन्नु पर्यो। मलाई म्याम 5 दे ल, रेटिङ चाहिँ 4 चाहिँ नदे। अब 4 दियो भने उनीहरूले 1% 2% घटाइदिइहाल्छ।
And then there's also the issue of arbitrary blocking of accounts. Partners are getting blocked even if they have good ratings just because they cancel more than thrice or if they have a lower acceptance rate. Could be anything, Selvi tells me.
Every reason they are blocking, ma'am. If you are not owning your calendar Saturday, Sunday, I will block you. If you are not doing scanning. जितना प्रोडक्ट तुम परचेज कर रहे हो कंपनी में ही परचेज कर रहे हो ना, यू आर बाइंग द प्रोडक्ट इन कंपनी ओनली, दैट वी हैव टू स्कैन आफ्टर द सर्विस.
There's also something called product rating that Selvi is talking about here. Basically, these workers have to purchase all the products that they use for their services from Urban Company via the app. And it is one of the main parameters that they are rated on by the company. So the more they buy, the higher their rating. But among the biggest concerns of all is the issue of safety. While the company boasts of one of the largest female workforces, it doesn't really have a solid practical mechanism in place for these women to protect themselves from harassment and abuse. Because think about it, they're literally having to go to a random stranger's house to work. They have no idea who is inside and what kind of people they might be till they're actually inside the house. Selvi and Nisha both told me many horror stories about this.
We are not getting anything from your side. You are getting a lot of business from our end, but we are not getting anything from your end. You don't have a courtesy to speak to us also until now. अभी तक हमारा कंपनी से एक भी इंसान बात करने के लिए आया भी नहीं है, एक कॉल भी नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. हम कंपनी से उसका प्रॉपर्टी कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, बस हम यही चाहते हैं कि हम जैसे पहले इंडिपेंडेंटली काम कर रहे थे वैसे ही करें. हमारा बिना आपका कंपनी इतना नेशनल कंपनी नहीं बनना था. एंड यू आर नॉट कंसिडरिंग अस एज अ एम्प्लॉय, पार्टनर बोलते हैं.
So, in today's episode, we will try and understand why Selvi and thousands like her are so angry with the very company that was once a source of freedom for them. Hello and welcome to another special episode of Daybreak. I'm Snigdha, and every Friday, my co-host Rahil and I come together to talk about something in business and tech that interests the both of us. This week, though, it's just going to be me because Rahil is on leave. And depending on what we're talking about, we will have some really interesting people joining us on the podcast. In this episode, we were joined by Selvi and Nisha 2 women gig workers, and Anna Elias, a PhD scholar who is researching India's gig economy. One of the biggest USPs of Urban Company, especially for its women partners, was the kind of flexibility that it gave them. We're talking about women with families and kids here, so this was something that really made a difference.
Unfortunately, women in our societies, we know, especially from a lower income household, face various societal and structural barriers to join the formal workforce, right? So, when platforms like Urban Company came in, they sort of bridged this gap by offering flexibility, as you mentioned. So, women could choose their working hours. Workers in general, especially women, could choose their working hours, which allowed them to balance the family responsibilities, which is often a cultural expectation in Indian households. But I would say flexibility is one of the most misunderstood, misinterpreted concepts within gig economy.
So I asked Selvi to explain to me how exactly she takes up a job through the Urban Company app.
Job, we will not take, the company only automatically assign the job.
So
Even
you
if
can't choose.
no, before we had 2 years back, we have an option to choose कितना किलोमीटर है, क्या प्रोडक्ट है, कैसे करना है, you can plan. It was that flexibility, flexi. They told us to join when they joined us. That is how they said. You have a family, you can work only 10 hours, you can spend time with your family, etc. etc.
Nisha too echoed Selvi's thoughts about auto assign. She pointed out how they have no choice no matter how far the job is, how much it is worth, rain or shine, they just have to go. The other option is to cancel the booking, but that comes with a heavy price. You see, urban company workers are rated on 4 parameters: 1. Customer rating, 2. Number of cancellations, 3. Weekend hours, and 4. Product score. And based on these ratings, the app ranks the workers as gold, silver, and bronze. Selvi showed me her app to explain how it works.
Compulsory Saturday, Sunday, you have to work 13 hours.
And if you don't work?
You will get blocked. This is what is for, you will get blocked.
So, silver targets rating.
I was in gold partner. They put me in silver.
Silver.
Yeah.
So, gold partner means what?
Gold partner means C.
No profile pause for 30 days, personal loan of 30,000, medical insurance. Oh, so medical insurance is only for gold partners.
Yes. That is what I want to show that to you directly. So that way people are thinking we are telling lies and everything, etc. No. Where did I see? This is what you will get. Go bronze, silver, gold. Okay.
So you have
I
two
was in
gold.
I was in gold partner last
March to
March.
May.
Yeah. After that they put me in because due to rating. I will show you that. This is how it works.
Okay, so silver is 4.7 plus rating, 3 or less cancellations, 70 70 weekend hours, and 70 product score.
Yes.
Silver is 4.8 plus, 2 or less cancellations, 70 weekend hours, 80 product score. And gold is 4.9, 1 or less cancellation,
Yes.
80 weekend hours, 80.
Yes.
Nisha, meanwhile, told me that it is almost impossible for most people, including her, to be a gold partner.
गोल्डमा चाहिँ क्यान्सलेसन पनि एउटै मात्रै राख्न सकिन्छ अनि क्यालेन्डर मार्किङ पनि 90% मतलब माथि राख्नु पर्यो प्रोडक्ट स्कोर पनि 90 देखि माथि नै राख्नु पर्यो अनि रेटिङ पनि तपाईको 4.95 देखि माथि नै राख्नु पर्यो अनि कसले सकिन्छ सकिँदैन नि अनि त्यही कारणले म चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म गोल्डमा छुइनँ कस्तो हो के हो त्यो त थाहा नै छैन मलाई त
Now, the thing is that the customer rating system on the app is entirely one sided. It is skewed heavily towards the customers, which leaves the women partners entirely at their mercy. Another aspect of the rating system that urban companies' women partners have a special gripe with is the product score, which I had explained earlier in the episode. The workers basically have to purchase all the products that they use for their services from urban company via the app. And it is one of the main parameters that they are rated on by the company. So the more they buy, the higher their rating. And the company keeps a tab on when a partner's product should be getting over. They use the scanning mechanism for this. Nisha showed it to me. Barcode जस्तो अन्त त्यो गरेर चाहिँ
यसलाई स्क्यान गर्नुपर्छ क्या फोटो यस्तै अप्सन आउँछ होइन
So you have to buy the products, then you have to scan this, and then you have to upload it on the app. Then what happens? Product score goes up.
अनि उनीहरूलाई थाहा हुन्छ हामीले अगर यहाँनिर मैले अहिले भ्याक्सिन फेसियल गरेँ नि अगर यो मैले स्क्यान गरिनँ भनेदेखि त्यहाँनिर प्रडक्ट युज भएन भनेर गलत आउँछ रङ भनेर आइदिन्छ
Oh, so it's buying is not enough. You have to show that you have used it.
त्यो गर्नै पर्छ गरेन भनेदेखि अब इमिडिएटली मतलब घटिहाल्छ
So if she forgets to scan it, the company will assume that the product has not been used. Nisha had a few instances where she forgot to scan and her product score fell. Selvi, meanwhile, explained to me how auto assign also makes it worse for them by forcing them to buy more products.
You will order 3 pedicure kit, 3 facial kit, 3 cleanup kit, waxing. ओके इन चारों चीज़ें में एक ही दिन में 3 पेडिक्योर दे दिया इनका बिजनेस स्ट्रैटेजी आप अच्छी तरीके से सुन लीजिए 3 पेडिक्योर एक ही दिन में दे दिया तो नेक्स्ट डे यू आर इन ऑटो से नेक्स्ट डे पेडिक्योर आएगा तो व्हाट यू विल यूज़ अगेन यू हैव टू ऑर्डर मिनिमम ऑर्डर इज 1500.
So, why does such a problematic system even exist in the first place? Anna had something to say about this.
So, ratings and review mechanisms were introduced and implemented by platforms with the aim of maintaining customer satisfaction and service quality. So, by design, it is a tool to keep a check on the workers. And the algorithms behind these ratings, they lack transparency. They're prone to various inaccuracies or as I mentioned earlier, they are simply beyond the skills of a lay person to comprehend. And there are some things beyond the worker's control which can affect this rating. It's true that to a certain extent the rating system is exploitative. And to maintain these high ratings, the workers are compelled, to accept certain unreasonable demands from the customer, such as working overtime or providing these additional services without compensation, or even tolerating inappropriate behaviors from the customer. So, I think for women, it adds another layer of vulnerability because many enter the gig economy thinking of the flexibility it offers, but the pressure to maintain these high ratings takes away their flexibility. So they leave their apps open, their calendars open throughout the day, all days of the week. So it becomes a tool of exploitation on certain levels, especially considering that these workers often lack the resources or the negotiating power to challenge these systems.
To give you an example of how unfair it can be, Nisha, whom you've been hearing so far, suffered an accident on Diwali day this year while driving her two-wheeler. A drunk man came in the way, she swerved and fell, and the bike fell on top of her, injuring her ankle. Selvi showed me pictures before I met Nisha, and it was gruesome.
ये 3 दिन के बाद ठीक है उससे पहले एक्सीडेंट दिखाती हूँ फ्रेश कैसे रहता है देखिए स्कूटी से गिर के
And then what
उसका
happened?
प्रिस्क्रिप्शन है कंपनी ब्लॉक कर दिया क्योंकि उनका ऑलरेडी जॉब आ गया था 4 काम आके बैठ गया था व्हाट इज शी विल डू शी विल गो वर्क लाइक दिस
The day of the accident and the following day, Nisha had taken an off on her app calendar. But she had 5 bookings the day after that. So she called a representative from Urban Company and gave her all the proof because she did not want to cancel her bookings. It would affect her ratings. But the woman told her to cancel anyway and also pointed out that her weekend hours were falling. When Nisha expressed her fear about getting blocked on the app, the woman told her that she would unblock her when she got better. She did unblock her ID for some time, but later her ID was blocked again. They asked her for a meeting and all the medical proof again and finally unblocked her ID. But Nisha lost multiple days of work because of this. And even prior to this, she was blocked for almost the whole of October because she had 2 deaths in her family and had to cancel some of her bookings. In the next segment, we will talk about the lack of basic safety that women gig workers face on the job. Stay tuned. This segment contains descriptions of harassment and violence against women, so please consider this a trigger warning.
When we go to the service, only we provide service for the women.
So, as you may have guessed, what often happens is that the husbands or male partners book on behalf of women. And women partners of Urban Company have no way of knowing who the service is for till they are actually inside the client's house.
I went to the service. I did the service to her. उनका पति के लिए अंडर आर्म्स कराने के लिए मेरे को फोर्स किया था उन्होंने. She make me to do the अंडर आर्म्स वैक्सीन उसका पति के लिए. Not only for me, whoever goes, she's forcing them to do उनका अंडर आर्म्स. Finally, she made me to do. I refused to do. Finally, she forced me. Otherwise, I will give rating like that only. I will be.
Depends on rating for you.
Yeah, everything is about rating only. No, the customer doesn't know what is exactly happening. You will think if the customer gives you, many other customer also will think, oh, she might have did this only. But the customer doesn't know what I faced. I'm also human, no?
While Urban Company finally did apologize to Selvi, she later found out, thanks to her own network, that the same customer who harassed her was also assigned to another woman partner again. She pointed out to me the imbalance in how their lives depend entirely on customer ratings, but customers, on the other hand, can get away with almost anything.
Why you are not blocking that customer? जब हमारा रेटिंग खराब होता है आप लोग हम लोग को ब्लॉक करते हैं. जब कस्टमर खराब होते हैं हम किसको बोलना है?
Selvi then went on to narrate another even horrific incident about an Urban Company woman partner who was from the Northeast. The customer had an issue with her service and an argument ensued. The husband of the client hit her, snatched her phone away, and locked her in the washroom for close to an hour.
My CEO is saying we are giving safety, trust, everything. When this happens, what is the safety you have given to that girl?
Nisha too told me about an incident of being eve teased by a group of men because she had been auto assigned to a shady area of the city. They recognized her uniform and kept asking her to give them a massage. I asked Anna about these incidents, and here is what she had to say.
These platforms undertake enormous background verifications and checks for the worker, whereas the customers are not subjected to the same scrutiny, right? So I think at its core, there is a neglect. The neglect stems from the fact that gig workers, particularly women workers, they are not considered as the central stakeholders in the gig economy. So it is a system that prioritizes, it is profit oriented, and of course the priority is customer retention and expanding the customer base. But yeah, for things to change, I think it's important that the gig workers are recognized and are considered as key stakeholders within this whole system. And more importantly, I would say it's important to develop emergency and safety tools that are practical and reliable. And along with the trainings that are provided to the workers, related to their products or the practices, the tools, there should be like considerable time spent on training them on how to use these safety features. So like some simulations on how to respond when there is an unsafe situation, like so very practical, very like role play based training needs to be provided to the workers, especially women, to keep them safe from such situations.
So you see, it comes as no wonder now that Selvi and Nisha and more women like them are becoming vocal about the issues that they face. Selvi is in fact now the leader of the Gig and Platform Services Workers Union here in Bangalore. She joined it last year and has been using WhatsApp groups extensively to organize women gig workers in the city.
We want a law for the gig workers. यही मैं चाहती हूँ कि तभी मेरा एक वेपन है कि हमारा साथ जो भी लड़की है कंपनी से बात करने के लिए एक वेपन है.
In June this year, the Karnataka Assembly introduced the draft of the Karnataka Platform Based Gig Workers Social Security and Welfare Bill. This made Karnataka the second Indian state to initiate such a move. The first was Rajasthan. Also, I think it's important to tell you that we asked Urban Company a bunch of questions for this episode, but so far we have not received any response from them. Meanwhile, I asked Selvi if she has a message for anyone from Urban Company if they're listening to this. She said that the leadership should meet workers at all branches and hubs and ask them about their issues. She says workers want the company to do well. They don't want to fight. And that they would feel proud to tell others one day that their CEO actually made an effort to come and talk to them and try to solve their problems.
That is why we are still working in your company. That is the reason we are working in your company. But at the same time, you have to understand from our side also what, especially women के लिए क्या प्रॉब्लम है कि आपका कैटेगरी में ज़्यादा औरत लोग ही काम कर रहे हैं. आप लोग का प्रॉब्लम क्या है, ये बात करना है हमसे कि हम क्या रेटिफाई कर सकते हैं. तो हम भी खुशी खुशी से बोल सकते हैं कि हमारा कंपनी से हमसे बात किया है, हमारा प्रॉब्लम के लिए सॉल्यूशन दिया है, वो कर देगा. बस इतना ही चाहते हैं. आप लोग ब्लॉक क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये एक औरत का पेट में लात नहीं मारना चाहिए.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings.
A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. Head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the Ken website.
Today's episode was hosted and produced by Rahel Philippos and I, Snigdha Sharma, and it was edited by Rajiv Sien.